Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. This is totally weird. So I'm running super behind on everything. Lighting in here is terrible. So I'm recording a video at work. I have like a half an hour maybe until people show up for work. So let's see if I can actually do this. Yeah, I forgot my tripod at home. It's been a week, so let's just get into it. First question is, I'm curious how old you were when you started the channel and has BookTube changed your reading taste at all? So I started the channel in 2012, so I was 25, 26. So I was like older than most people are when they start BookTube, but I was still relatively young, I suppose. And has BookTube changed your reading taste at all? Significantly. I feel like I read so much wider, so much broader than I would have before. I read a lot of like just contemporary and literary fiction prior to joining BookTube, just because that's what I was exposed to. Like, I didn't really know how to discover books very well, so a lot of times my discovery method was just going to the bookstore and picking out whatever was on the front tables. And by bookstore I mean like Borders and Barnes & Noble. So yeah, now I'm exposed to so many genres and so many different types of books that I never would have picked up otherwise. Question 2, what's your favorite thing about BookTube and what motivates you to consistently make videos for years on end? What motivates me are two things. One is like a selfish one where I really like making videos. Like, I feel like it works a muscle that I don't get to work otherwise. I enjoy talking about books. And then the other one is that you guys, like, I love the comments that you guys leave me. You guys are very generous, and I feel like I enjoy having like the back and forth with you guys, having the conversation, seeing what you guys think about things. Yeah, I really just like this whole interaction part. What's your favorite memory connected to BookTube? I think it would be being able to go to VidCon. A couple of years ago I was on the BookTube panel. That was just an amazing experience. One, because I never thought that I would be asked to be on a panel at VidCon. Like, that's insane. I still can't believe that really happened. Another part of it is just like the experience of being able to see a lot of different people who I either know through BookTube or being able to meet new people who were in BookTube at that point, and being able to meet people who say they watch my videos. Like, seeing people in real life say that is still mind-blowing. What booktuber do you think has the closest reading taste to your own? I would say David from The Poptimist is probably the closest. He hasn't been making videos though lately. So the other one I would say is Jennifer from Insert Literary Pun Here, who I mentioned in my shout out video. Do you ever get overwhelmed with booktubing and maintaining your professional and personal life? Yes, can you tell by the fact that I'm currently like recording a video in my office because I just don't have time right now. I mean, that's partially just due to Vlogmas in general. Usually I'm pretty good about balancing my time. I'm very aware of like the things I need to accomplish, but yeah, I get overwhelmed constantly in general. So yeah, it definitely happens, but I think I've given myself a significant amount of grace when it comes to especially booktube stuff, because this isn't my job, and I've become very good at like realizing what my priorities are, and if I don't finish some of the things that are lower on the list, that's fine too. So if I take a week off from making videos, it's fine. No one really cares that much. I mean, you guys enjoy when I put out videos, but I think you guys also care about me taking care of myself and taking care of things like my job that pays the bills. Speaking of which, moving on to the miscellaneous section, I got a bunch of questions along the same lines of what's your educational background, what's your day job, you work at Book Riot, is that like your full-time job, and all this stuff, and how did you get started with Book Riot? So quick rundown. I was journalism major in college. My current full-time job is I work at a real estate trade magazine. We publish mainly for agents. That's like my full-time job. Book Riot is just like a side thing. I do like maybe, what am I doing now? Probably about like 30 hours of work a month for them. I mainly just do the videos for them, and then I am the one who sort of like maintains their YouTube channel. So like everyone else's videos, like they upload them, but I like schedule them and make the thumbnail and make sure they're all have like book links and all that different stuff. And obviously I'm doing the podcast with them too. And in terms of how I got started, I just got really, really lucky. A couple of years ago, they decided they wanted to start doing BookTube, and I was someone they reached out to, and they were like, hey, are you interested in doing BookTube for us? And I said yes. And at that point, they were still figuring out what YouTube was gonna look like for them. So I didn't start right away doing YouTube stuff for them. So when I got hired, I was writing content for them the way that everyone else writes content for them. Then eventually they started their YouTube channel, and then I got hired on as someone to do, or as a YouTuber for them. But yeah, if any of you are ever interested in writing for Book Riot, please do it. They have a link on their website that's always open. They're always accepting contributor applications. You just have to provide some sort of writing samples. You don't have to have like publish writing samples. If you have like a blog or something along those lines, that's great, but you can also, I think, create writing samples for them so they can get a sense of your style. They don't hire people directly to do their YouTube channel, so you would have to be willing to work at Book Riot as a writer. Have you ever considered a career in publishing or something book related? I've thought about it before. I mean, I'm never gonna say no to an opportunity like that. It probably would be interesting and probably be something that I could theoretically be good at, but I don't have a lot of experience in it, obviously, outside of BookTube. And I kind of like the fact that there is a separation in my life. Like, I like that at my day job, I'm focusing on a specific task and specific type of work, and at like home and side stuff, I'm doing something completely different. Like, my biggest concern is that I would get like burned out talking about books and talking about publishing, and then like something like this would get abandoned. So yeah, I sort of like the fact that my life isn't consumed by one specific industry. Like, I know a lot about real estate right now, and I kind of find that really interesting. And I think that the same way that I need variety in my books, I need variety in my day, and the idea of like being completely entrenched in the publishing world doesn't really interest me at the moment. All right, next up, I've got a bunch of food questions because I prompted that. What's your favorite thing to cook, and are there any meal, snacks, etc. that propel you back to your childhood? I don't have a favorite thing to cook. I mean, I feel like my favorite things that I've made are things that I've made for other people. So I have a jambalaya recipe I really like, and the reason why I thought of that is because I made it for my friends who just had a baby. I really enjoy baking cookies, if we're talking about baking. I really like roasting vegetables. That's not like a thing to cook, that's like my favorite thing to eat. I make a lot of like soups and things like that, of that nature, because that's usually what I'm bringing to lunch. I think that's another question is, I know you pack your lunch for work. What's a typical packed lunch for you? Usually some type of like soup type situation, or like a stir fry. Sometimes I'll have pasta, but I don't really like eating a lot of pasta, so I don't do that too often. But a lot of times it's like a soup type thing because I like it and it works well for lunch, and I have like these little containers that carry it well. Oh, and then are there any meal, snacks, etc. that propel you back to childhood? Yeah, basically anything my mom cooked. Those Freezy Pops, I don't think that's the official name for them, but it's like the tube and it has like sugar water inside, basically, that's frozen. Those always propel me back to childhood, although I still eat those now in the summertime, so I don't know. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I ate as a kid I still eat on occasion, not as often, but I still eat it. All right, next question is, what's your favorite bougie foodie type food, and what's your favorite trashy junk food? Trashy junk food is very easy for me to answer, and that is pizza rolls. Pretty sure there's nothing nutritional or helpful in pizza rolls, but I could eat those every single day if I didn't care about my body. Favorite bougie foodie type food is really hard for me because I don't really eat that much bougie food because, in my opinion, because I don't want to pay that much money for food. So I'm gonna just go with ramen. Like, you can get like dollar ramen and it's not bad, but like really good high quality ramen is mwah, could eat it every day. Any cool podcasts that you can recommend? I'm gonna look at my podcast player really quick because I did not prep as well for this question. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts because I don't spend a lot of my time listening to things. Like, the majority of my listening time is at work, and I can't really listen to podcasts because I can't really listen to podcasts and like write things or edit or read and edit things. I'm just going to run down through some of my favorites. I really like the annotated podcast from Book Riot. That's probably like one of my favorites that Book Riot has put out. It's basically like Planet Money, but with books. NPR's Code Switch, always great. Extra Hot Great is a TV related podcast that I really enjoy. Pass the Mic is the website that Pass the Mic works for, is called The Witness, and they call themselves like a Black Christian collective. I really enjoy that. That's probably my current favorite. Still Processing is one from the New York Times that I really enjoy. I'll have links to all of these down in the description below, so that way you guys can check them out if you're interested. But yeah, those are sort of like the ones in my feed of like when they put out a new episode, I always listen. Besides books, what are your specific interests? I associate you and your channel with literature, but while watching I can't I can't help but wonder what your favorite food or music is, things besides your favorite book. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I like food a lot, and I also like music a lot. In terms of my favorites, I mean, I listen to basically like pop and indie rock and indie pop and some R&B. I listen to a lot of different things. It's hard for me to say what my favorite is. I sort of grew up with like two major influences in my life. One was like my sister, who listened to and still listens to a lot of like hip hop, R&B, pop, and then I had like my cousin who was like a straight up like rocker type guy. He listened to like Metallica and all that stuff, Pearl Jam and Nirvana and the Foo Fighters, so I get like a rock side from him. So now I feel like I just listen to everything. Other things I really like art, going to art museums and, you know, seeing public displays of art. I don't watch as much television as I used to, but I really am intrigued by the television industry, the media world and things like that. Like, there was a point in time in my life when I was in college basically where I thought I wanted to become a network executive. That obviously didn't happen for a lot of different reasons, but yeah, that was a thing. Someone asked me, have you ever been to Delaware? No, I have not. I actually know nothing about Delaware. I'm very bad at knowing about the like northeast part of the United States, like all those states sort of blend together. I apologize to all of you who live in that part of the country, but I know nothing about it. What songs, albums have you enjoyed this year, and what are your thoughts on reading while having music in the background? Reading while having music in the background, I'm totally cool with, just because I can easily like ignore it and I actually like it a lot. I'm currently looking up my Last FM profile so I can see what albums I listened to a lot over the last 365 days. Haim's new album, definitely high repeat. Hillsong United's new album, Wonder. The Mina Birds, Be Here Now, I listened to that so much. Ibeye? I don't know how to say that one. Their new album, Ash, I listened to a lot. The XX latest album I listened to a lot this year. Rationale's album I listened to a lot. Oh god, I really want to see Rationale in concert. SZA, I listened to her album a lot. Floor, I don't know if I'm saying that one correctly. John Mark McMillan's new album, Mercury and Lightning, I listened to those a lot. Yeah, that's good. That's like top 10 for the year. Where'd you get that super cute sweater? I'm assuming this person meant the sweater that I was wearing in that first video where she left the comment, and it was from Old Navy. So yeah, oh, by the way, speaking of sweaters, I'm wearing my Christmas sweater today because it's the last day of work before Christmas. Just thought I'd show that off since I can. I think you mentioned in another video about your parents being immigrants to the United States. I want to ask if you or your parents ever visit family left behind. Also, if you can read in another language. I can't read in another language. I can barely speak / understand other languages. I can get by. But yes, we do, or my parents do, or I should say my mom does, because my dad passed away a couple of years ago. But yeah, my mom just went back to India this year. I hope to return at some point, but it's hard with like vacation and things like that, and especially like going all the way across the country, you lose like 2 to 3 days just traveling, so it's hard for me to take like big chunks of vacation like that. So I haven't been since I was in college, which is unfortunate because I have a lot of family back there, a lot of first cousins, a lot of people who are getting older, a lot of people have had kids at this point, and I have never met their kids. So yeah, I definitely want to go back. Have you always lived in Chicago? Basically, yes. I was born here. The only time I left for a significant portion of time is when I went to college, and that was literally going to Milwaukee, which is not that far away. It's like an hour-ish drive. So yeah, I am a Midwestern Chicago girl through and through. What's the best concert you've ever been to? This is really hard for me because I feel like best concert is such a subjective thing. The first Bastille concert I ever went to was like mind-blowing, but I think it was partially because it was the first time I was seeing them live, and also I met them afterwards. I was that weirdo who hung out in the alley and stayed behind to meet them, but it was fantastic. Like, they are so kind and so generous with their time. Will, the bass player, like offered me his coat because it was maybe October at that point, and it was like one of those days where it was slightly on the warmer side, so I didn't have a jacket, and so I was like literally standing there like this the whole time, and he offered to give me his coat so I could like be warm while we were having our discussion, and it was a great discussion. Like, we talked about like crime in the United States because it was also like their first time in the United States, so we were talking about like what they were seeing and experiencing in the United States, and so we talked a lot about like culture and like things that they've noticed that are like super different from the way they were raised in the United States. Like, they found like the whole gun stuff super fascinating because they're so not exposed to it, gun culture that is, and you know, I talked about crime here in Chicago and, you know, various factors that go into that. And yeah, it was really, really fantastic. So I feel like that's sort of the epitome of like a great concert experience. Like, all of their shows are amazing. I think partially because the crowd is always super great. But yeah, they also just put on a really fantastic show. All right, final question. Who / what is your favorite non-book related YouTube channel, something that might surprise us? I watch a bunch of like random things. Like, I'll watch like one channel in a bunch of different genres. Dodger / Press Hard to Continue in terms of gaming stuff. I've been watching her for a really long time because she used to do like daily vlog sort of situation. Like, she did this thing called Coffee Time, and she would record a video every single day and have coffee and talk about her day, and she is fantastic. And so now I watch her. Trainer tips in terms of Pokemon Go content. Yes, I'm still watching that stuff because I'm still playing. But beyond Pokemon Go stuff, he is amazing at filming and editing. Like, my most recent daily vlog that I did was partially inspired by like things that I had seen him do, and obviously I can't do things at his level, but it was me trying to emulate that. I apologize for the sound. Our coffee maker is turning on because it's on a timer. Another one that I recently saw is Anthony D'Angelo makes a lot about like media theory and media content, and he recently just put up a video called The Politics of Vlogging. I'm looking to the side because I'm looking at my computer to make sure I'm saying it all correctly. correctly. I'm gonna link specifically to that video. It's amazing. He's so smart. I mean, I think he's getting his master's in this or something along those lines, but yeah, he's so smart. I also watch like financial YouTubers. If you have been with me for a while, you would have seen like last year I made videos about like budgeting and things like that. I don't watch quite as many anymore, but the one I would recommend or the one that I really like is Budget Girl, because one, she's single. It's very rare to find single people who talk about financials because it's usually like married couples, and also like she's always made similar amounts of money as me, so it felt really nice to see someone who's making like $30,000, you know, paying down their student loan debts and things like that, and I just found it to be really inspiring. And obviously our situations are often different, but the fact that like she wasn't making a lot of money, I wasn't making a lot of money at that point, and she was paying down debt really aggressively was just, yeah, again, just really, really inspiring. I'll have links to all of their channels / videos down in the description. And that's it. I finished, and no one's here yet. Success. Part of me now wishes I brought my laptop to work, because then I could import this video and get a head start on editing. But anyways, that's a complete side thing. Thank you so much to everyone who left me questions. You're always welcome to leave me questions in comments of videos, and I try my best to answer them the best that I can. But this was fun, even if like I'm doing things like this, like recording at work. So yeah, I will have my best books of the year, or not best books, favorite books of the year. I say favorite because I am in no place to judge the best books of the year. So yeah, favorite books of the year is coming out tomorrow, so you can look out for that, and then I'll be basically done with Vlogmas. So thanks so much to everyone for watching and enjoying all of these videos. I will have a link to my Vlogmas playlist up in the cards, so in case you guys are interested in checking that out, if you are new here or you just want to see if you missed any videos, definitely you can do that. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.